Man, I did not think I would be making this video again this soon. I kind of thought I'd get like a day or two. But no, we get to talk about this now. So there's already been a few replies to stuff, and I want to go over it. It shouldn't take a lot, except for mid's half, but we will get to it all. Some of it's pretty much exactly what I said it would be. So yeah, we're gonna get to it. First of all, we're going to talk about Day because Day posted some evidence confirming their blacklist, and I just want to go over a lot of it because a lot of it is just incorrect. There's this. This was apparently so they've been saying that SK is the one who reported their characters, which is not true. Um, and this is their screenshot as proof that the character was reported by SK, which is just not true. They took a screenshot of the character profile and yeah, apparently that means that they got it from a Toy House ticket, which is just not true. I think I can pull up probably in another browser real quick. Hang on. I can probably pull up my tickets from Toy House just to prove that that's just not how that works. Toy House tickets. I want to go here to the disc desk. Let's see. Um, All right, here's a ticket. Here's a ticket to show. So in this ticket, I reported a friend of mine's character who had been stolen. Here are the two links. As you can see, there is no image that shows up from these. So like maybe it would show on Discord, but there would be a link there along with it. So I think maybe someone doesn't know. Like this doesn't change the icon at all. And then there's this obviously, which is them showing the screenshot proving that they made death threats. And then they're just like, oh, well, it's, I see how it came off wrong, but it was 4 years ago. Which still doesn't change. This is a death threat. This was made. There is literal evidence of it that you posted like an idiot. I'm just going to be for real. I don't understand why you posted that. There is this it's this one. Anyways, so obviously I've shown evidence that Moon is in fact a fucking predator. And they're mad about a private photo that was made between Pi that was using Star, which we made a while back. And I asked to have a version of Moon made because again, it's a predator. And apparently it's whether they thought he was a groomer or not, it's not okay to make death threats. I don't I'm sorry. I hate to be that person. But like one, he is a groomer. He's a borderline pedophile. And two, and like and also, it wasn't even made of Moon. I'm pretty sure it was made a vent character of Moon, which is not, none of this is public. This was all in a private server. I can even grab these screenshots from the private server where this occurred. Like, it is a very small group of friends that could see this. Yeah, I'm mad about someone who fucking groomed my friend, and I made jokes about stabbing him using a definitely real character, definitely real person here in a definitely very cartoon way. But no, apparently that's fine. And then it's just more continuation of that one. It was specifically of the vent character, and we made goofy comments. And again, yeah, no, Moon's a groomer, and to humanize him like this when he's done such heinous shit is, Cool. Then it's just screenshots of you know, us checking blacklist for stuff, and apparently, you know, it was stalking. There was no importance of taking these screenshots except that it literally had to do with me. You can see right here that this blacklist specifically has my name on it, but apparently it's had no importance whatsoever. So, yeah, no, that's just false. Then there's this. We're gonna talk about this real quick. About a few years back, there was uh there was a few people. Mids was one of them. Um, Mids was one of them, and then there was another. Sorry, I was about to say Ari again, and I'm trying really hard not to. Um, Mids was one, and then there was another, and I can't remember the other one's name off the top of my head. But I was given some pretty substantial like evidence plus some several witnesses who had said that they were going on the a public server to intentionally take screenshots to make copies of my sets, which is illegal. That is a crime. So I went on and was like, "Hey, you need to knock this shit off, or else I'm going to the fucking police." And yeah, I did make a threat that I was going to the police. They were doing something illegal. That is what you do. You go to the police. I don't understand why that is a bad thing. Also, they this one's really important because one, this is the only screenshot they showed of the 4 screenshots I showed of them sending inappropriate stuff to a minor, not including the fact that they coerced a minor into giving the money. But also, they say Flair's age here. I mean, they say 16 to 17, but that's still closer than it should be, and I'm pretty sure Flair and the VC here can confirm that they did in fact not have permission to do that. Yep, Flair in fact did not make it public. So, no, none of this group has any permission to say Flair's age. So, whoopsies. And I can't remember whether Moon was 18 or 19, but Moon is in fact still a minor. This is still grooming. Why is that confusing to these people? I don't understand how this is somehow confusing. Oh, they finally posted more of the screenshots. Okay, we get to talk about this then. Cool, 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 cool. So they showed the other screenshots. They all put proof in quotation marks. Apparently, because Flair is, I'm sorry. Let me read this correctly. An older minor, that somehow makes this not grooming. I think is what is being implied here. Of course, obviously, there's more like, oh, they're stalking. They like to paint this whole thing as stalking. That seems to be this group's MO. Uh, Actually, a lot of groups do that. Is when they do something bad, is suddenly keeping track of anything they do is stalking. This is not stalking. You posted this publicly. This is on a public platform. I'm sorry that you are on the internet. Um, and no, this person in particular had nothing to do with the grooming allegations, except for the fact that they're related to one of the people who are helping in the grooming, and I didn't want them to be able to follow me. So there's that. There's a bunch of screenshots here. We're gonna go through them. I'm just grabbing them real quick. Oh, there's a lot of them. Oh, we've got so many to go through. 'cause obviously I'm gonna grab all of them because 'cause I'm not gonna shy away from anything. Oh my god, where the hell did these screenshots even start? There we go. Um, they also, we did have this conversation, Midnight and Flickr used to talk about Slay the Princess a lot together. I know nothing about the game, so I'm not even gonna, like, say that I have any knowledge, but I am aware that it is, like, an 18 plus game, and that Flickr was talking to Midnight. Well, that was not 18 plus. Again, I knew nothing about the game at the time. I know Flickr has only ever talked about this particular game and has apologized since then and has not talked about this in front of minors. They were under the impression that, as far as I am aware, Flickr was under the impression that the game was for 16 plus due to Google searches. But that has been corrected. It is one game versus the several things that Flare was sent, and somehow that makes it better, I guess. Um, but also it was just showing Sona's, so I'm not sure how this is any proof of anything, other than I guess they played the game and they sent links. But again, this is one game, and when Flickr realizes this is bad, but see, even Flickr here is like, "Oh, this is bad. It doesn't make it any better." Like, they're literally sending screenshots of Flickr admitting that what they did was wrong, and that it shouldn't have happened, and that it won't happen again. Again, more screenshots proving that Flickr was unaware of shit. Oh, shit's out of order. That's great. Apparently, this is just more evidence of stalking. Again, keeping an eye on bad people, not stalking. We did find out that this was about Jack Manifold later. But again, it's not. We were asking about it. Not a big deal. Actually, that's kind of what started us to lead down the path that potentially it was Siege. So, you know, there's that. Um, Again, we were checking Midnight's Toy House because they were updating it to have us in it, but apparently this had no importance. Again, them claiming it has no importance when, you know, kind of talked about certain things. Oh, cool. They called they called Mar even though they don't have permission to do so. Oh, that's great. I'm so glad that they're misnaming a minor. That's great. That's cool. I'm glad they've done that. Isn't this whole group's thing like trying to like call me transphobic? So let's see. Saying they weren't going to out someone they thought was a groomer till the person they're falsely accusing came out and said that they were naming was transphobic. What even is this screenshot? When Moon publicly called others transphobic, it was the thing that pushed PC over the edge because Pride did the same thing, which is true. The only thing is that with you, for the most part, you TO people when the name switches, and we get so this is a private DM between Siege and Mar that occurred. When Moon, he just called us transphobic for referencing to someone as a name that was in their username and was not corrected ever. Yeah, no. So, like, here's the thing. We complained about this. Um, God. Sorry, I'm having some really bad trauma responses to this. Bet they're gonna use the excuse that Mars isn't trans, so it's okay, probably. No. So here's the thing. There was a lot of shit that made us come out publicly. The groomer thing was what was gonna like. There was no. It was a push at the edge to do it now, but I had always said, and I'm pretty sure anyone in the VC can correct me. You guys are allowed to unmute, by the way. Can verbally correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I even several times over said that I wasn't going to say anything until after I moved.
Yeah.
And the
You
reason
didn't want to say anything until after you moved.
and the reason I was quote unquote pushed over the edge is because now they were falsely accusing of me being transphobic, which was a trigger point. So, yeah, I guess they're technically correct, but it was more so I just didn't want to deal with any of this until I had finished moving. Which I think me as a victim of the situation as much as anyone else has every right to do. I think there's a mistake here that I was not also a victim in this. I was. I wasn't a victim in the same way that Flair or anyone else was, but I was still hurt, and the fact that that's being brushed off and ignored is so great. Gotta love how they gotta downplay the trauma. So, that's great. But no, I Uh, and also, I think this is supposedly just on Mar and Bull. I don't know if this is supposedly just on me, but if this is referring to Mar slash Bull, Mar here is a minor, so pressuring a minor to come out against an adult who is a pedophile is definitely a choice. Day, it's definitely a decision you've now made. Again, screenshot you had no importance of, except this is Siege. Watching a stream that had nothing to do with them or anything really. It was friends playing Regulator, stalking yet again, except again, they talked shit in this, so. There's that. Stalking, when it has no relevance, it does shift. He's on the blacklist. Stalking yet again, except it has no relevance. There's my username. Stalking yet again when it has no relevance. This is Siege. Stalking yet again when it has no relevance. This is Day. Stalking when they have no relevance. This again is Siege and Mids.
I mean, we were trying to figure out who they were.
We're going to talk about the color picking here, actually. This is really funny. So, there's this design that was made. It has similar colors. It was definitely inspired. I'm not even going to say it's not. But, yeah, you don't own colors. I hate to be that person. You don't own colors. This one, the moment I was told I can grab a screenshot, I'm going to do that real quick now because you people are fucking insane. I was working with Ness to make characters based off of other characters I liked. I didn't realize how close this has been color picked. It's nothing on Ness. Ness didn't know, and I didn't know, so I posted it. But the moment it was brought to me by Rye, hang on, I'm gonna scroll up now in our DMs to find it. The moment it was brought up to me by Rye.
lime. I think they go
Lime?
by.
Is it okay?
Yeah,
Lime. Sorry.
it's lime. Yep.
Also, they didn't even give all the characters, so there's that. Let me grab. Nope, that was not the full screenshot I wanted to grab. Uh, so there was this one. This is an adopt I made that I used the same colors. It was too close. I understand. But both of these characters, when it was brought to me, they were taken care of, as in they were immediately deleted. I do not have these characters anymore. I deleted them because they were too close. When it was brought to me, I deleted them. But again, you don't own colors. I know it's close. I don't care. I mean, it's petty, and I hate to be that person, but they've literally done this to me before. This particular artist has literally copied my shit before, like even closer. So I'm not overly like I don't care. I don't care. You people are hypocrites and it makes me mad. So it's okay for you to color pick, but it's not okay for me to color pick. But the character is completely fucking different. Yeah, the head is floating because the arms and torso are floating. I like my floaty designs. You would not look at these two characters and say they were the same fucking character. You would be literally out of your goddamn mind.
Honestly, yours is closer to like Porter, one of my characters, than it is to that one. Which I'm not even like saying they're the same. But it's just crazy.
Also, they're based on nether portals.
Also,
Minecraft.
apparently this is related to something I don't know. I don't know what the hell this is. Again, this is a live stream where they're playing a game made by pedophile. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Back on track. Next thing we're going to talk about. Hey, Mute. You saw shit. I don't know if you saw the whole thing, but let's talk about this. I posted Dandy's World and SFW to one of these posts were reference sheets of Cosmo and Sprout. It wasn't uncensored. I had just labeled it with the artistic nudity label, which is a label I wasn't aware that default settings were off on accounts, which PC shows in her video that she had off. This is true. This is true. The account that I showed has it off. Unfortunately for them, that's not the account I was using. This is the filters on the account I was using. It's set to warn. I don't know why they thought that I used only the accounts with my name on it to ever view anything on Blue Sky, because I have alt accounts for series that I am interested in that I don't want public people to know that I'm interested in, because I don't want minors to know that those are content. Like, if there's content I don't show on my main pages because it is 18 plus, and so it is inappropriate for a child to be interacting with. This is the settings on that account. I don't know why in God's green earth they think that all my account settings are true, because I also only showed one of two accounts. I don't know how to even begin to describe how stupid it is. And I know it wasn't selected as nudity because the moderation then reset again. I can't even show the screenshots because I don't have the censored versions on me right now. But
They may have put the hashtag with NSFW in it.
that doesn't
That does
tag
not
it.
mean
That doesn't hide the photo. It wasn't labeled properly. So to be like, oh, it's not labeled properly, but it is. You just have to have the right setting is just incorrect. That is an incorrect statement. You are intentionally being misleading. There is literal evidence that says otherwise, but whatever. Whatever. I'm glad you're trying to learn at least from the names thing. But also it's a really weird argument to say a lot of kids games have NSFW when the first game you list is not a kids game. FNAF is not for kids.
MLP isn't a game. It's a TV show.
There's that too.
It has games, but it's like mostly toys and TV shows.
But no, FNAF is not a kids game. It's definitely not like 18 plus, but that still doesn't make it like a kids game. Like that's to argue with stupidity is quite frankly hard, but we got more. This one's gonna be long, and this is gonna be a long top because this is Ari's Midnight's. This is Midnight's Blacklist. We're gonna go over this one by one, and yeah. But talk to me about details of their rape. This did not happen. I mentioned that I was raped, and I was told by who, but they even admitted that anything exact was not said. But
And
no,
we're treating them like a teenager, not like a 5-year-old.
yeah, apparently they're 5, and none of that can ever be talked about. No, I said they need to be careful of someone because I was raped by them. That's not. Made insensitive jokes about me and my friends' groomers, regardless of how they cope. They were asked to stop and didn't. I don't know specifically what's being referred to there, but I can almost guarantee I was never asked to stop. Accusing my best friend of grooming and being a pedophile, worse than our groomer. That is true. Moon is. That's not an accusation. They are a pedophile. There is literal screenshots. I don't. That is interesting. Accusing another friend of not censoring their NSFW. We already went over and double checked that. Blue Sky even censored it because it was incorrect. Along with saying they made it accessible to kids. It is. PC showed the image in the video, which even then censored exposes to that content. No. You can't even see any of the artwork. The piece is fully censored. No. That's not how that works. I'm glad that they're being like, oh, any kind of proof you show is now actually the illegal stuff. No, that's, thank you. Stealing my credit / work and craning ownership of it. I don't care that we had a contract. It's void contract due to how illegal they both were. So I never stole credit for their work. There's no proof of that because that didn't happen. I claimed
to remove it.
I claimed ownership over my thumbnails, which are legally mine due to copyright, at the bare minimum, but at the maximum is mine due to the contract. Pressured me into a call with someone I knew was a form. What? What even? Hang on. What is this English? Pressured me into a call with someone I knew was a form of SH torture for them. What?
Question marks?
What does that even mean? I was on vacation and not in a place to have that conversation.
SH means sexual harassment.
What?
I'm still confused.
How are they claiming it? Okay, no, pause. Hang on here. They're saying it's self-harm or sexual harassment to say to
Self-harm torture?
to be in a call. Wait. That doesn't make okay. You know what? I'm what? I mean, I showed
assume
it. I
it's
showed the
self-harm.
screenshots of that. I think they're referring to me doing the murder games. Which is something I do when I'm depressed. It's not self-harm or
Oh.
torture.
No, yeah, no. And sometimes you
It's
don't even do them
coping.
when you're depressed.
Yeah, I do them when I'm
You
not
just do them because
depressed.
you have to.
Yeah,
In some
I've
cases.
showed the screenshots of that. I'm so confused. Villainizing me 2 times behind my back. One of the times was when we were still friends, and the villainizing went on for months. When they found out I learned about it, they all had nothing to say. Even made it my fault for talking about how what they said hurt me. Yeah, because, they were being manipulative, and we talked about it, and, we're allowed to do that. I don't. Okay. Like they did, I guess. Stalking me and several other friends and acquaintances, a lot of us being minors. Again, you love using that minor excuse. It's very, very silly.
Love how I'm an older minor, but they're all minors.
Yes, of course. Even though I'm pretty sure Mids is older than you. I'm
No,
not.
I will
They're
say they are
younger.
like a couple months.
Oh, they're a
but
couple
like
months younger. That's
yeah.
still a couple months, isn't
Or maybe
trying to refuse artist TOS even though they didn't agree to it despite owning their designs and trying to trade them off. It is true. I did not agree to several of the artist TOS. I told them out front and they still traded with me. I don't overpricing resell adopt, some of which they got for free, and the only edition art was also being free. Nope. A lot of the art was trades that I did for other people, so it was not free. And I guess pricing adopts is kind of up to the person. None of them were resell. Like, none of them were for money. They were for trades. So I want to make that very clear. Like, I don't... Okay. Like, sure, yeah. Overpricing as in that was what was offered and I accepted the offer that was given to me. I guess that counts, yeah. I don't think that's overpricing because the way that you're wording it makes it sound like there was money involved, and there was not. Threatening me and an old friend with police when I was about 13 for admiring public builds on their set. That's not what happened. You can have a screenshot of that all you want. There's like major context missing there, but cool. Allowing a minor's voice actor to be present in a recording that mentions rape. Example, she never said no, doesn't put a trigger warning in the actual content. Yeah, that's true. That particular video is all 13 plus. My content, my channel does delve into content that is 13 plus, involves stuff like alcoholism, rape. But it is all talked about in a very 13 plus manner, because I am very open and very vocal about advocating for people who have been in very terrible situations. So yeah, saying a minor is present is not 100% true. There was 13 plus actors present during a 13 plus recording, which is...
You didn't get explicit with it. You were just like doing the implications that happen with something like that, with the issues that come across. Like what to look for.
Yes, that is true. I'm pretty sure also anyone in that... Yeah, I'm pretty sure most minors that were involved during that specific recording were deafened, and weren't even there. They were just randoing for the video, and I don't think any of them listened in on any of it. And yeah, of course I only do it on vent videos and callouts, because in vent videos and callouts, I talk more on details of what happened. I don't go into the nitty-gritty when there's children around. We stick to, what is safe for 13 plus. Despite it containing the following topics: incest, Klaus and Violet, that was mentioned twice, and I never directly mentioned that any of them had any kind of anything. It was mostly just like, oh, we're making an excuse and then never talking about it again. Rape, Melody and Conjurer, that is true. Again, all PG-13. Murder, FNAF is entirely on murder. So I'm a bit confused on that. You're in a fandom with FNAF, and FNAF, while it is not a kid's game, is certainly not 18 plus or R rated. There's child murder. Whoopsie doo. Swearing is not. Okay. Oh, fuck, guys. I think I fucking sweared in front of minors, guys. Oh, shit, dude. Oh, fuck, man.
That's fucking crazy.
That's. Oh, God. Oh, fucking no. I swore in front of a child. Oh, no.
Bananas. Absolutely bananas. Jesus Christ.
I think the only one who doesn't swear in front of minors here is me.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I
not.
don't
That's not.
swear.
But that's also not 18 plus verbal abuse.
Yeah.
Most of it is very shallow verbal abuse. A lot of you're stupid and you're not worth anything. Stuff like that. That's not.
Those are playground insults.
Yeah.
Playground insults, by the way.
Physical abuse.
Please.
I think the closest to physical abuse that I've ever done in Minecraft, because not a game where physical abuse can really happen, is punching, maybe. Yeah, that's it. Unless you count like Liam punching Winter, or in the most recent video posted today, Nick's punching Jack, which I think is very minor. And it's all seen as very bad. Questionable relationships. Oh, let's get into this. Pandy and Flo, murder and victim, along with Pandy abusing her prior to them dating. The abuse being that Pandy was scared of Flo because Flo was a wet floor sign. That's abuse, guys. Congrats. Violet and Bella, murder ex-victim, questionable age gap. What age gap? They died around the same age. I'm pretty sure Violet is like a year younger. If that's a questionable age gap, then like you have to questionably age gap literally every single fucking like fan animatronic ship. Like, are we gonna go into like Mangle X Foxy? Like, you are like stretching. Alcoholism, Autumn. Again, everything is completely 13 plus. Any alcoholism that is touched on is extremely frowned upon in both the FNAF series and PPHH. Autumn is like gotten help for it, and in Pi, Autumn still is an alcoholic, but it is not talked about very frequently, and is very much like, this isn't great, this is bad. But Autumn's not the only character who partakes in alcohol in that series, so I don't know why that one's the one that's individually spoken of, because Autumn's the one that I very, like, specifically push that this is bad. Yeah, at FSH, there's a bar and people drink at it. There's a bar in NNPH. Is any mentions of bars now alcoholism? Like, what? Oh my god. Invalidating my feelings to the point I felt I could not talk to about them. Whenever I would, I felt like other people were prioritized and mine were thrown to the side for them. How about the fact that I'm pretty sure several of us can attest to the fact that you would go out of your way to only talk about yourself. And in situations where we were referring to Pi, you would push your character in the middle of whatever was happening, even though it was like other characters' turns to have their moment. I think Bex's episode is a great example. I'm pretty sure Ari pretty heavily pushed that they were
Midnight.
Midnight. Thank you for correcting me. God, you're gonna have to correct me so many times. I'm pretty sure like Midnight made that about them, even though it was heavily about Mar. They pushed themselves so much into the spotlight, actually, at some point in time, they wanted to make a design that had their character also be part dragon. which I wouldn't have had a problem with if it wasn't for the fact that they wanted to make it like a big plot point in Pi, which I guess was fine, but we were busy doing other things at the moment with other characters because not everything's fucking about you. And yeah, so I guess by prioritizing other people, it meant that I actually took other people's feelings into consideration, unlike them, but silly me. Has gotten mad several times at people being neutrals in situation without caring for the reason. Yes, I do get mad. I do not believe in people being neutral. If somebody has been hurt, then there is no neutral. A friend of mine who literally wanted evidence from both sides before making any decision, and when giving their side of the evidence, they sent it through a minor despite the accused being the person. The evidence set was not safe for children. I don't know what that means.
Is it because Flair was sending you the screenshots because they were in Flair's DMs?
Maybe.
I wonder how else you
Oh,
could get those screenshots.
you're right. Oh, you know what? You are absolutely right. This is probably about Circus and Lego. Circus reached out to Lego, specifically about wanting to like figure out where they were. And the Circus was willing to give the evidence, from which a lot of it already came from their DMs, because Circus was also groomed. So, like, yeah, the minor involved is also a victim, but that's being pushed over. Allowed death threats towards me and my best friend in the form of art, which while okay, here we go. Yep. So
Also, before you move on,
yep.
Also, you omitted sending like most of the really bad stuff because Circus was a minor.
This is
You
true.
explicitly stated to Circus that you're not sending all of it. If Lego wants more information, he can go to you because you are not sending this stuff through a minor.
That is true. That did happen. Oh, you're absolutely right. My memory is quite foggy. Allowed death threats towards me and my best friend in the form of art. While the art is of characters PC owns, they are characters that are made to represent me and my best friends along with their interpretation of us. Okay, so this is referring to... I'm gonna pull these up. Alright, let's see. This character... Oh, who's it owned by? Me! And I made them. What about this character? Owned by... me! And they're my character. So, yeah, no, I'm allowed to have fucking art of my characters in however fucking way I want. Oh no, I made a death threat towards apparently a fucking predator. Fucking sue me. I don't give two shits. There was no death threats that were made about or towards either of these people. They don't like art that was made of killing two characters. That is entirely on them. Has gotten very sexually flirty with their partners around minors. No. That's never happened. I think the most... I don't even think I get
As
that
a minor, I
raunchy.
confirm that's never happened. Don't know what they're talking
Also
about.
confirmed, yeah, there's flirting, but it's
There's
not
flirting?
bad flirting. The bad flirting is in their DMs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't...
And they make a point to emphasize that they can't say stuff because we are minors.
I'm
let's
pretty
please.
sure I even verbally be like, oh, whoops, can't say that. There's children here.
You are. You do that all the
Let
time.
me DM them.
This is true.
I think I've even done that several times on a stream. There's proof that that's just not true.
It's probably happened in bloopers.
But like, cool.
You always,
where's
like,
your
make sure
fucking
you don't-
evidence, bitch?
Yeah, they don't have it.
There's no fucking evidence of any of this. When called out for doing it with one of their exes, they blamed it on one of the alters. While I haven't heard worse since, I still have gotten uncomfortable by stuff they said in call and them with their current partner. one, this was never communicated that they were uncomfortable. If it was, it wouldn't have happened with them there. Two, I don't blame shit on my alters. In fact, I go out of my way to, like, actually
Yeah.
blame myself stuff for my alters doing. To the point where
Like,
this is a problem. You know who
yeah,
did
you
blame
have
their
a
their alters
flirty
for doing
alter,
shit?
but,
Yeah, that's true.
like,
But you know who did blame themselves for doing that shit?
blame the alter.
Moon did. Moon has literally gone out of his way to say that his, like, abuse towards Flair was entirely due to an alter. I don't know what the hell they're going on about. You're that shit crazy. Jesus Christ. Whew. Sorry, I need to calm down. I'm so fucking... accused me of calling them and their friends transphobic for reposting something my best friend, a trans man, said in response to me being very open and public about wanting not to be called Ari/Aria. I'm only saying that because it's a quote here. Which is true. That's what that post is. Yeah. The post was roughly willing and knowingly calling someone their dead name is transphobic. Which they only dead named me in private when I announced it, so, like, I don't know why the fuck they thought that. I only know they did privately because of a good friend with photo proof, along with the fact that they seem to not be able to just call me Midnight when they did it for whole several RPs. Yeah, but we spent fucking years calling you Ari. Like, to
Yeah.
be fair, I don't know why it happened for the RP. I don't know how that occurred, but it did. Shrug. I don't know. My brain's kind of weird with words sometimes. But that's not to say that we haven't been trying. Sure, yeah, in private, there's been quite a few times I've called you Ari because I'm not perfect, and that's just what happens when you're not perfect. It's crazy. I need a moment. This is... This is a lot. Okay. Dead naming me and my friends, even my partner, did not. The moment that they said that we're changing their name, I did. Unless Siege is no longer going by Siege, to my knowledge. I can call them Pika if that's what they want. I don't. Rug, I haven't dead named Siege. Every time Siege has come to me with a name change. Oh, well, if you're talking about the list of names on the blacklist, that's old usernames and old names. That's not dead naming. That's really not the
Because
same.
in case you used the other usernames, or in case people saw the other username.
So they know it's
Or
the same
names.
person and stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's not dead naming. But it's cool that you're continuing to claim that. Even though just earlier you were saying, well, I never claimed that, so... Oops. Allows minors to sign a contract without parental consent / verification of parental consent. I.e. failing to reach out to the parent to confirm the document, allowing me and other minors to sign it without a parent, a convo and VC for me. Evidence? Oh, you don't have it because it was a convo and VC. I see. So here's the thing about electronic signatures. They count as regular signatures. I don't need to have any kind of parental verification that they were signed by a parent. That doesn't have to happen. If anything, it sounds like you're admitting to forgery, which is also illegal, but on a whole different level. I'm pretty sure forgery is a federal crime, and you can be persecuted as an adult, even if you're a minor. So,
It is.
yeah,
It is, in fact.
it's far worse than you breaking the contract, but, you know, hey, you want to admit to forgery, Allowed mine and other groomers back into their cast because she was getting better, only to remove her again because she groomed another child and abused them. That's referring to Star. You know what's
She was
really
in the
funny?
cast.
No, she was
Like, the second
never
time.
allowed in the cast the second time.
Yeah.
Genuinely, that didn't happen. That just straight up didn't happen. I continued to talk to her because I thought she was getting better because she was my best friend and I was also being fucking groomed. But, hey, it's fine that I was abused because I'm an adult. And so that's fine. Right? Posted one of my best friend's private vents that they weren't supposed to see in a chat called Situation Screenshots. We did talk about that last video. Proceeded to not only claim that it sounded like he didn't want to leave his groomer. I did say that, unfortunately, because I didn't know that they were groomed because I forgot the context. So that's cool. Tried to get me to give them more info about it. Yeah, I asked about it because I knew Mids would know more about the situation. So I was like, hey, remind me about this. Openly stole several characters to make their own personal character / adopts. When called out, they changed who was making the designs because the original artist was obviously copying. That didn't happen. Also, yeah, cool, admitting that you got a design, even though that it was against the TOS. I'm glad for that. So thank you for letting me know. I will speak to Toy House about that. Because you don't have a right to that character. Anyways, going back from it, 1, you don't own color palettes. 2, the adopts I think you're supposedly talking about, which I have every right to continue to make, are actually based off of designs I made for an AU. So I have complete right to those designs. I've always had rights to those designs. Oh yeah. There's that. But hey, I'm not really surprised that you don't have all the evidence because you haven't even seen the full fucking video. You haven't even seen the whole fucking video. But what do I know? Look, we can continue this back and forth a ton. I have all the time in the fucking world. I'm not going to sit here and let you make slanderous claims when there is very clear evidence against what you're saying. Even the few screenshots that you do that have evidence seem to be violently taken out of context, or you're just intentionally mischaracterizing them. If I have to continue to make updates on the situation, I will. No matter how taxing to my mental health it is to have people who have abused me thrown into my face. You signed a contract. That contract is concrete unless you can prove in court that you didn't have your parents sign it and in which you committed forgery, which is a federal crime. So have fun with that. I don't really know what else to say other than like half of the shit that was said is just actually baloney and is unreadable to hell and back and can be literally proven by literally seeing anything I've ever done and made. Bringing up my content since it is 13 plus as being some kind of like gotcha for things is literally fucking insane, considering that you're with someone who like actively has played a game with porn in it around you, and that not being the only visual novel he's played with you / around you. I wouldn't be surprised if there's worse, considering there's a whole fucking live stream of a game that he admitted to be 18 plus with you there. Now I have to pack. So I'm going to do that. Until there's another update, I guess. GTFN.